What happened? Come on. And I think YouTube's back. Let's see. Okay. YouTube is back. Let's get Instagram back real quick. What a pain, man. Alright, live video. Public. Next. Copy the key. Good lord. There's got to be a way to automate, like, most of this, but maybe not. Who knows? Okay. I think I'm back. Go live again. Okay. Check everything else. I think we're okay. Music's still going. Everything else seems to be okay. All right. I think we're back. Hi. Welcome back. That was fun. My network switch overheated and took a crap, so it's back. And we're going to get right back to what we were doing. So, good stuff. Fun times. Technology is a terrible thing. Thank you. I'm going to replace that switch one of these days because it's so old and it really just needs to go. But the one that I want to replace it with is like $500 and I just don't want to spend that much money. So, rightfully avoided. But if it keeps doing this to me, I might just have to. I need music that's not so, like, ominous. There we go. That's better. To texture, which version of your model you use? The smooth version of your model, or do you use the normal model regardless of slight changes? You can get similar details such as screws. It really depends. If the model's, like, small enough and, like, not as crazily dense, I'll just subdivide it at least once and then do it. But if it's, like, a super dense model, like with my tank, I don't subdivide it. I just use the base mesh, texture it, and then subdivide later. Two of them seem to go in my mesh when it's not smooth, so the texturing looks weird. So one of the reasons that happens is because the smoothing the smoothing algorithm that you're using. So when you're doing the actual smoothing in like Maya, you're subdividing, you need to change the smooth algorithm to preserve edges. Because if you do not set the preserve edges, it's going to stretch your UVs. And so you want to preserve that cut, basically. I just learned that straightening vertices like that straightens them dope. Thanks. Going to test the C4D. Yeah, it should. That's a pretty common thing, I think. Big chunk of change. Yeah, it's stupid, man. But if I go that route, I'm going to be like replacing everything. Like that's going to be my cameras, like all that stuff. So. Good chunk of things. That is, yeah, so check this out. So, if I go here, right? So if I wanted to smooth this, you go smooth, options box, and you'll have these options down in here. So you want to make sure you're using Camel Clark, sharp edges, sharp corners, and then you want to do preserve edges and corners. That should preserve everything as you smooth. That way your UVs don't stretch or skew. Thanks for the answer. You're welcome. No problem. I'm glad that I can help. I think I'm going to do 2 of these instead of just 1. I'm going to do it like, yeah. I'm like thinking outside the box here. Okay. Whoa. Oh. Oh, man. How are those tombstones going, Zach? When are you trying to be done with that project, too? If you don't mind me asking. Let's do this. Nope, that's anywhere but center. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Well, let's not do that way. Okay. Okay. Let me go circularize that. Fix the twist a little bit. Of course, you can only do it on one of them. That's so frustrating. That's okay. Just realized that may not work that way really well. Let's fix that, because I don't like that at all. Oops. I hear that fan going like crazy. What's up, Hyomi? How are you? Oh, God, Paris. What's up? How are you? How's it going? And guys, remember, if you want like a bigger viewing experience, there's Twitch and YouTube. I know Instagram's kind of small. Can be a tad bit small. Okay. What's up, Tamuzu? How you doing, man? I had to force myself to stop rigging. Ideally, I want these to be the same, but honestly... doesn't really matter all that much, but... Saturday break looks amazing though with the tracks. I know, dude. So if you guys are curious on how that works, this is what I had to do to get that to work. This is my Joplin. I keep all my notes and stuff in here. So this is basically the code that controls the tank tread rig. So this is what tells the main controller on the tank to control the rotation and direction that the treads rotate, as well as how much they rotate. This is also supposed to be working with the wheels as well, but the wheels aren't currently working. I have to figure out why. This is a pain in the ass. I don't like this part at all. I'm not able to do good in texturing. Texturing. Okay, so like, what are you trying to texture right now? Like, what are you stuck on? Okay. Let's see. So this needs to be, let's see. Oh, no. Hold up. Wait, I will send you a link. Okay. I almost actually did a texturing stream tonight, if I'm being totally honest, because I've been wanting to retexture my Tron disc because I despise the way it looks. I know it was like one of my first like social media projects, but I have to fix it. It bugs the hell out of me. Okay. Question is do I leave this up to texture or do I just model it in? I feel like modeling it in is going to happen. Oh, that's not cool. 50%, 20%. That's really... I think I can make that work. Okay, hold on. Okay, so if I want... Alright, so that's going to be 90. Which means that needs to be... Wait a minute. I love that that doesn't work that way. Okay. Copy and paste on Google. If you sent the link on YouTube, I can't see them. You have to post them in Discord. What kind of several props environment kind of project would you think best proof of skill set in a game studio? I've been thinking between indoor and something more architectural, like a cathedral or something like that. Yeah, I would tend to focus a little bit more on like some of the things that you can get a little bit artistic with. So don't do like sterile, bland stuff. You can do things like, if you're gonna do something like sterile and bland, or like almost like dystopian, do something like inspired by like Dune. Like look at the art styles in there. But you know, like I don't know, sci-fi is always a good one. Medieval's pretty good. It's a pretty solid one to go with, and you could do a lot with it. It just depends on like what you actually want to do. Like pick something that you're gonna want to finish, right? Like that's the big thing. Storytelling and architecture, yeah, of course. I sent in 3D showcase. Okay, hold on, let me see it. Oh, that's right. We looked at this one last week, or last time you jumped in here. Oh, let's see. So right now, your textures are feeling a little flat. They're definitely getting there, but they're feeling a little flat. So like when you look at this from a distance, it's not really conveying the material that it is. So you're going to want to start working on breaking a little bit of this up. Because like, see, you've got all this really cool detail in here, like these handles and stuff. And these vents, these are details that you should pull out. And these are going to be different materials. Even so, if they're not different materials, they're going to have some sort of difference to them. Like vents will have grunge buildup along the base of the vents. Stuff like that. Yeah, that and your lighting right now isn't helping you. The lighting is kind of keeping it feeling flat, so you're not getting a lot of that roughness pop. So I would play with your lighting. Start looking up some 3-point lighting systems, because it looks like you've just kind of got 2 lights blasting it right now, from what I can tell. You did have a rotational, didn't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, like you've got some nice stuff. Ooh, what is that flip? What just happened there? That's, I don't know if that was like a rendering issue or what. But yeah, it looks, it's just coming across really kind of flat, and there's a lot of detail that you could kind of push in here. You know, look at the way like stuff like this, especially on a vehicle like this that you're trying to convey is like used and damaged. Look at the way dirt builds up. You know, pay attention to the way things rust and degrade and dent over time. You're starting to add some really nice details in here, but try to make those pop a little bit. One of the best things you can do, let me show you here real quick. People say roughness is not good. Are you saying like roughness is not good as in like not good to use, or like your roughness is not good? Give me a second here. Let me pull up an example. Where am I? Content, stills, practice. So let's take a look here. We're gonna pull this one up. This one has a lot of detail. So one of the things we try to do, right, as artists, especially if we're doing textures, is we try to convey the way something exists in life, like how it's used. So taking a look at something like that's a really blurry example. Let me see if I got a better one. I think I do. Where is that? I know I do. Yeah, here we go. So take a look at this. Okay, so you're looking at something like this where you're trying to convey like what this item goes through. So like this pick, for instance, this pick is used to scrape at rock and expose bone, and it gets dusty and dirty and damaged. So you're talking about trying to convey that kind of story through your texture and like what this thing goes through, as well as matching whatever reference you may have. So like with the paleo bond, the crimped corners and the damage along the corners where you'd be squeezing the tube and damaging the sides of it. Those are really important details to kind of look at and pay attention to, because in the end you're trying to show like this thing's used, right? And so this right now looks very clean and very flat. And so you want to add some depth to your texture. It's not that your roughness isn't good. It just needs work. So, and that's one of the things that I try to show people is like when you're talking about roughness, right? Like when you're going to add dirt and things to this, like grunge and degradation, like that's going to change the roughness. Right now, your model looks like it has a very overall roughness instead of like roughness with a purpose. So like when we're creating those maps and those textures, you want to have a purpose to them. You don't want to just slap them on there because it looks cool. Never just throw some sort of texture asset on there and call it good, because if you're not in there tweaking it and adjusting it and making it look like you want it to, you're going to get these kind of like flatter results. So for instance, with the, what was the thing I just did? The batteries. Let's look at the batteries. In fact, I'll just pull up Substance Painter and I'll show you. Why don't you use similar subdivision tool here? Where? What's up, Michael? How are you? Hold on, I'm going to fire up Substance Painter real quick. Let's see. Battery. Oh, no, that was the dirt. That's not the one I want. Is that even opening? Oh, it's trying to. Not that one. Open recent. I need the actual battery. Post-aging. Discard. What's up, Commandant? How are you doing? Okay, so let's look at the battery, right? So you have this texture here. This is not just one layer of roughness. This is many different layers of roughness. So if you look at this closely and you break it down, right? You have this top layer of roughness. There's a layer underneath it that has additional streaking. So all of this is used to convey like what has happened to this object and like what degradation it went through over time. And so you can see how the roughness changes across the label versus the rust, and then into the interior portions of the battery that haven't rusted yet. This is where you want to really kind of pay attention to like what your roughness maps are doing, because it will make or break your texture. So you need to pay attention to that. So don't be afraid to add multiples. So like for instance, let's see. If I look at the base. So my base has this just general roughness pass, and if I turn that off, you'll see that doesn't do anything because that's only one of the roughness layers. There's so many other ones in here that I just kind of work into the texture itself that you're kind of trying to, you're building on layers. And so if you're curious on how to do that and how to kind of work with that, take a look at those two tutorials I just posted about the batteries. It gives you the model and everything to do with them. I highly suggest you take a look at that because it's going to give you kind of a breakdown on how these different channels work and how you can do stuff. Let's see. It's the fact that the roughness is one noise texture and it doesn't make sense in terms of what is dirty, what's clean, and the wheels of brand new plastic. Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the biggest points there is that, just like Tamuzu said, like, you're expecting different types of roughness all over the place here. Like, your tires, you're talking dirty, muddy, torn, like whatever different types of damage is going to occur on them. There's going to be some sort of different type of roughness versus what's on the vehicle itself. And so you've got this kind of like overall grunge almost. It's like a grunge map basically. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're breaking things up, especially into like material groups. That's something a lot of people don't get taught, is that you want to break stuff up into material groups. So you have, you know, I assume that's like foam, maybe foam or plastic, but you've got plastics, you've got fabrics, you've got metals, but you got to break your metals up into different types of metals because every piece of metal is technically different. You know, aluminum is different than steel, copper is different than gold. Everything has its own IOR, which is their index of refraction, and you want to make sure you figure out how you're working with that and how you're breaking that into your model. Because if you don't do that, you're going to end up with these just kind of overall roughnesses, and it doesn't really look great. It does make your model feel flat. I think you have an awesome start, and you're really getting there, but I'd like to see a little bit more like detail there. So take a look at that, see if that helps. Try a couple of different things. Don't be afraid to experiment. And if you want advice, post in the Discord. Like, post some work in progress stuff and ask, you know, as you're going, because like there's generally one of us in there. See a very detailed battery. Yes, yeah. So if you guys are not familiar with the battery, you can do this entire tutorial on my YouTube. So check that out. You working on your model right now? I'm showing off some people right now. Or I'm showing off to a student right now to show them like how to work with roughness right now. Yes, to add more depth, dirt, and more curvature in some places. Yes, absolutely. It needs quite a bit of adjustment. All right, I'm going to close that now. It's just using up my CPU. Okay. So I am not liking the way that's working right now. So give me a second here. I want to do is that. So where did my reference go? Hold on a second here. Okay. Does that help a little bit, God Paris? Do you have any other questions? How many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. So here's what I'm going to do. Thank you. I understand. Okay, cool. Perfect. And again, if you have questions, let me know. I don't mind helping you. It's a little bit better, so... I'm just thinking about how I want to map this through. Yeah, that'll work. How are we doing, Commandant? It's good to see you. So, here's what we'll do. Okay. Okay. And my music just ran out. 1 minute, 1 second. Okay. And since I know you're hanging around, Tamuzu, what are you up to, man? What should I do now that I graduated and my education license is expired? Should I get in a blender until I can get it back? So, if you can afford it, take a look at Maya Indie. It's like $300 a year, But that's a year. You pay it once and you're good for the entire year. That's what I personally use. If that doesn't work for you, then yeah, you can try Blender. I forget that they use the Autodesk does their licensing a little bit different now for the student licenses, but I would take a look at both of those. It's tough because like the last thing you want to do is kind of like jump into another application. But if that's your only choice and you want to continue doing 3D, then go for it. You can also move on to like Houdini as well if you wanted to. If you wanted to start learning some procedural stuff. Because Houdini, I believe, has a free version. Pretty sure, right? I'm going to filter this down here in a minute. Just kind of getting everything connected so far. Alright. Let's see. Just trying to finish out the side of the environment piece. Got a load of other shots lined up, so I can start really cranking them out on my. Oh, for portfolio. Nice, that's sick. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with them. Okay. When do you graduate to Muzu? Or are you even close to that point? What's up, Sharky? How you doing, man? Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that wouldn't hold. And it doesn't hold because it needs more going through it. So, let's do this. I don't need... Honestly, I can kind of just merge these right here. I think my my left click is dying. I've been having more and more issues with it. Oop. I got a little overzealous there. February, I think, wrapping up job hunting, going to pitch portfolio at events. Nice, that's cool. That's exciting. I'll be interested to hear how that goes. Million mouse clicks all through my... Yeah. Yeah, it tends to fry things really easily. Yeah, you guys can, like, see it behaving weird. I know that probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm going to keep doing it, because why not? Cool. What are you up to, Sharky? Hey, what's up, Ponce? How are you? Actually, I'm not a hyper fan of that. Let's see. That should be all I need. Yeah, that holds it just fine. issue, though, it's going to be this. That creates kind of a wonky division. I don't like that. Let's go back. I will refine that a little bit later. I'm going to just support it and then figure out where I need to cut it down. I always try to get like ahead of myself and try to like do topology stuff beforehand, and I just need to not. Let's see. Do you know when your next portfolio review will be? That's a good question. Maybe soon. Honestly, depends. I'm kind of in the middle of potentially not working anymore because of the government shutdown, so I will keep you guys in the loop. There may be more streams in the future just because of that, so I don't really know. If not, I would think probably the end of the month. I usually try to do them then. 95 yesterday? What are you... Wait, what? I figured out how to correct my VPS. Oh, geez. What happened? Sharky's 93 years old today. What's up, Chris? I'm good. What are you making? This is a little radio unit thingy doohickey for my ship. So I'm going to be working on this and then cleaning this up. I also am not a fan of how that ended up. I need to... Hold on a second. It's actually driving me nuts. Where's my camera? Let's see. Nope, that's not what I need. This is what I need. Let's try 040. Let's see if that lets me get closer. Yeah, there we go. I hate the clip plane. I'm back. What did I miss? Oh, not much. Not a whole lot. Just me making mistakes as per usual. I just really want you to go away. Oh, I hate that I did that. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to erase the mistake entirely. Okay, my right click is actually driving me nuts. Left click. Let's see. Merge you guys to center. Same here. Nope. No, that's not gonna work. I love how I just adjusted my clip plane and it's still not. Still ain't it. Okay. Just gonna fix this up real quick. Although, Zach, I don't know if you heard my question. When do you plan on finishing the Batman? If you have an end date in mind. I know I was talking to my wife, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday, about just like the sheer amount of shit that I have gotten myself into that I'm like, I need to not, like I need to finish a bunch of stuff before the end of the year. The end is near. Good, good. That's exciting. Okay, let's fix this real quick. This happens. Okay. And then what I can do is I can just click that, go to quad, apply, without the inset. Apply. Ew, why are we doing that? Shouldn't be doing that. That's kind of funky. Fill hole. Weird. Fine, I'll just do it the traditional way. I'm trying to like cheat it, but it's just not worth it. Bridge that. And then I'm just going to manually add these in. These are going to be glowing bright green anyway, so I'm like, I really don't care that it's kind of like wonky looking. Getting to the make it good enough stuff. Finish the Blender series. Those were too fun to see. I know. I need to do that too. I may have a ton of time coming up. I don't know. I haven't found out yet. So we'll find out, hopefully. Yeah, Blender series is on the horizon. I do need to get back into that. I need to finish the box. All right, let's smooth that, see how that's looking. That's great, minus all this garbage, but that's okay. All right. Let's leave. Clean this up. I'll leave that one. Anybody working on anything cool tonight? You guys got anything fun going on? Aside from those people who've already spoken about the things they're doing. Control delete. That should kill that off. You. Nope. You. And you. All get nuked as well. Cool. That's better. Let's finish this off. Because I'm a madman and I like manually doing this. I was gonna stream the project I'm working on, but decided to watch you instead. Hey, I can appreciate that. What are you working on? Okay. What do you have going on? Let's see. Hey, can you teach rigging for face? It's the most confusing when you can. Yeah, I don't do character rigging, unfortunately. I don't know if it's even something that I'm ever going to dive into, so I don't think I'll be teaching that. Maybe someday in the near future or the late future, but not anytime soon. There's just, I got so much other stuff going on that I don't have time to learn a whole character workflow too. But I have started on the rigging videos for hard surface stuff, so if you guys are interested in those, they're coming. What the hell happened here? Oh, that's cool. Damn, alright. I want to do something specifically for toon shading. Nice. I've started playing with that myself, and I actually find it really therapeutic. It's like super fun. I enjoy it. I got plenty of characters you can rig. Oh god, dude. You're adding temptation where there doesn't need to be temptation. Who knows? Maybe I will. So give you guys a little bit of an insight into what 2026 is going to look like, right? Because like I've got big plans. I'm going to be moving away a little bit from the traditional like modeling stuff because I don't want to focus another year on it. I have ordered a new sort of camera rig type deal that is hopefully going to start coming in pieces. But basically, I'm going to be doing some VFX work. So I'm going to be doing videos on how to bring your models into film and video production stuff, how to work with things in Unreal with video production stuff. So I'm going to be diving a little bit more into that side of things as well, because I'm getting the filmmaking itch back. And, yeah, it needs to be scratched. And a complex one with feather. Oh, God, dude, I couldn't imagine. Really good series on Domestica. It's all in the Cinema 4D, but if you know what you're looking for at the moment, you can get a sense of it. Yeah, nice. That's cool. Yeah, it's something I love doing, and I want to get back into it. I did a lot of indie productions when I was a younger person, and I want to get back into it. And I just realized I dragged that all the way through that model. I don't know if that's even necessary to keep, really. Yeah, it kind of is, actually. Okay. That's an interesting one. I can't easily terminate that, so let's do this. I don't like it, but it might work. As long as it's not too goofy. Okay, there we go. Gotta do the same thing down here. This is one of those situations where triangles are great, because they just work. Oh, we can mocap you running around my environments. Yeah, exactly. Why did you stream on Twitch? I do stream on Twitch. Am I not live on... No, I'm live on Twitch right now. I was going to say, I was like, please tell me I'm live on Twitch. But I see Tumuzu's message on Twitch, so I know I am. Yeah, I stream on Twitch and YouTube. Trust me, I do not stream on Instagram because I enjoy it. I stream on Instagram because that's where all of my audience is. So if you guys want a better experience, come on over to YouTube and Twitch. Because Meta has been letting me down lately. Big surprise, I know. Okay. So this is where this gets a little stupid, is I need to figure out how to support that without bricking this. So technically I need to pull that through. Hey, welcome to Twitch, Carney Artist. Carney Artist. Thank you for the follow. Literally watching you on here. Well, literally don't care, Chris. I literally don't care. I know what you do in your free time. It's been the same thing that I've been doing in my free time. I've gotten heavily addicted to Battlefield again, and it's been fun, but it's been detrimental to my artwork. Are you working in a studio or indie? I am indie. Maybe someday in a studio, but not currently. Although I reckon it would probably be more stable than where I am currently, so who knows? I should honestly just start throwing my resume out there. Okay, you guys. Just get tapped to there. I thought this construction job would be more stable. I was wrong. Oh, damn. Hopefully you're okay. How do you manage to pay for software like Maya? I buy Maya Indie every year. So it's like $310, I think, currently. And I just buy it every year. So I know that usually it comes in like December, I think. It's either December or January that it hits me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I just got to save up and pay for it, basically. I need to say that it's wonderful how you keep digging. Oh, how your keep digging clip stays consistent. Watch my channel to understand what things I could share if I had the time. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. How are you doing? I'm probably going to butcher your name, but is it Alonsarunga? Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Do you use Blender or Unreal? So, I have a series on YouTube right now where I'm trying to learn Blender. It's going hysterically bad. So I do use Blender a little bit, but I do use Unreal, yes. Working? Yeah, working. Not digging. iPhone fix. Yes. Oh, okay, gotcha. Alright, so let's see. Let's get me the shape that I want. It's just a... Why? Oh. Shit. Oh, no, that's actually okay. Hold on. I can just reroute things. Wandering Glenn, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Do I just need to like say that I'm on Twitch more to get people to follow me on here? Is that working? That's awesome. Maya 20 years, Unreal 15. Nice, very cool. Okay. I have been using, let's see, I think you have me on Maya because I've been using Maya since 2000. Yeah, you've got me a couple years on Maya because I've been using it since like 2007. And you definitely have me on Unreal. I have not used Unreal near that much. But that's super cool. Okay. I'm trying to think of where I can reroute these from. I think I can take this guy and do the same thing. Just trying to, like, not completely jack this up. Control D. Okay. Oh, that was me. Nice. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Did you go to school and learn the stuff you're doing? No. Well, yes. Yes and no. So, my school history is a little bit different than what you would expect most people. So, I did go to college. I went to Full Sail. I didn't learn anything because that school just kind of focused on churning and burning students, and I burned out really badly from it. So 90% of what I do is self-taught. I learned quite a bit in high school, but that was all through experimentation because our teacher at the time was an architectural designer. So he knew the 3D space a little bit, but he didn't really know like what we do as like 3D artists. So it was kind of up to us to figure it out. And super cool experience. But that's the way I learned. And I've always just kind of done it myself. Let's see. What's up, Christopher? How are you doing? I started using Maya 4.5. Oof. I'm thankful I didn't have to use that one. Taught at Full Sail for a year. The place is kind of a shit show. Yeah. Unfortunately. It's a bummer because I had high hopes for it, but it's alright. I think most 3D school in general is kind of a shit show unless you go to like a really well set up one. But when you go to a really well set up one, you pay a lot of money. So there's kind of that like drawback there. Okay, so I don't want that to happen. So I'm actually just going to bring these across. And then I'm going to cheat really heavily and just hide that. Same thing over here. Okay, how are we looking there? It's coming together a little bit. This one's pretty solid. Let's go ahead and set that up. What did you teach at Full Sail? Out of curiosity. I was in the VFX department towards the end of the degree. It was so churn and burn, like you say. By the time students got to me, they had forgotten some of the most basic fundamentals. Yeah. And see, I have a hard time because I'm like, did they teach me those fundamentals? I'm damn sure they did not teach us what UV mapping was when I was in school. Because I looked back through my course materials and I didn't have anything on it. So, yeah, I don't know. It was not a recommended thing. I would not recommend it. I was so burnt out when I got out of college, it's not even funny. Like, I did not do 3D for, like, probably 8 years. Which is super depressing because that's what I went to school for. So, yeah. But it's okay because we make up for it now. Okay. I'm going to try to pull that back a little bit. I'm going to hide it all back here. Because why not? I don't know, like, I try to be a good guy and, like, not shit talk my old school, but at the same time, like, I'm still paying for it. So, I don't want to. It's crazy because I left with an unhealthy habit / addiction. Yeah, I don't know. Some people did and some people didn't, man. I think it's because I worked a full-time job on top of doing school. Yeah. You teach 3D art for a living or no? No, I don't teach it for a living yet. I'd like to be, but that is up to YouTube to push my content and let me make a living off of it. Basically just a side gig. Me a good guy? I'm a great guy. What are you talking about? I don't start imaginary fights with people. You know how to draw for digital art? Yes, not so much in digital. I'm more of a like pencil person, so like I do actually enjoy drawing with a pencil. But I have been trying to get used to drawing since I do have this drawing tablet. I've got one of the pen tabs. I didn't really grow up doing the digital drawing stuff, so for me it's not as it doesn't come as naturally, but it's something I'm working on. I also taught at FIA for a year. It's a master's program, but way better setup for learning. Which one's FIA? Is that Florida? Is that another Florida university? Use a display tablet. I do for, yeah, like Substance Painter and ZBrush. I was not planning on spending this entire stream modeling this stupid little piece, but here we are. This is for sure one of those, like, don't look behind it deals. Okay. In fact, actually... I don't really care. As long as it looks pretty on the front. Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy. It's part of UCF. Interesting. I've never heard of that one. That's cool. What are other side gigs apart from 3D? Like other stuff to do 3D or like art? There's a lot. I mean, you know, you can work with companies and do like advertisement stuff. You could work in the visualization space. There's a big need for AR and I think it's XR development. There's a lot of good places. A lot of good stuff to do. From what I know, they are pushing AI heavily in the program and trying to focus more on art directing your project. Full sale? Oh, that sucks. It's also a super hard time to try to get in. Yeah, the industry is kind of rough right now, so like, it's definitely not easy. It's partially why I haven't really tried all that much. Because I have a semi-stable job. What industry? It's there. It's just a little on fire. It's a little crispy at the moment. It'll hopefully bounce back. Or indies will inherit the earth. So, you know, that's the other thing. That's kind of something that I've been toying with, like the idea of like going in on like some sort of like indie project and just like getting a bunch of people together to do something. I feel like that would be a lot more rewarding. But yeah, there's a lot to figure out there if that was something I wanted to do. Come to indies, funding for one. Exactly. There's no money unless you make it big, but if you make it big, you're good. I'm careful with the indie space. I think indie is an amazing thing, but especially where I am, the independent like kind of film space out here is, for whatever reason, horrendously cutthroat. And I don't understand why, but everyone wants to just like kind of use you for whatever they can use you for and then leave. And I can't do that, man. Have you made a game before or a short film? I've tried many times to make a short film, which is one of the reasons why I'm so burned by the independent industry out here. So I used to own my own film production company. I closed it about 2 years ago. And we never got anything off the editing room floor because every time I got an editor or somebody to creatively direct things, they just kind of wanted the treatment and not so much to do the work. And because like I was trying to handle everything else, I never was able to do it, and we just never got stuff done. So kind of my complicated history with like independent film stuff. But we're going to change that next year, hopefully. I'm going to try again. Let's see. Texas seems to have good programs for what we do for funding, surprisingly. You know, that's interesting you say that, because I know a couple people who actually live in Texas and like work in 3D out there, and it's kind of surprising. I think indies will inherit the industry. The big corps will turn into AI slot games like AGS. Yeah. But you got to work in Texas or no money. Fair. I think indie has a solid future. I want it to have a solid future. Because, honestly, that's kind of where the art is now. I don't know if you guys have gone to the movie theater recently, but they haven't been amazing. Nope, don't do that. I just see exactly what that was going to do. Okay. Oh, hi, that's hideous. What? Oh. There's a I don't know, there's a love and passion too for indie stuff. Like the people who do work on it like do love what they do. And so there's something to be admired there. And I don't know, I miss that feeling. So who knows? Maybe next year I'll spin up another studio. Probably not, but I'm joking. I feel like my goal has always been like, if I can make it big on YouTube, I'll use that money to do what I want to do creatively. So that's always been kind of like my goal. But I don't really know. It's really dependent on like how YouTube goes. Okay. This is probably one of the most hideous meshes I've ever made, but I really don't care. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. That's terrible. What's up, Akash? Or Akarsh? I'm sorry, mispronounced your name. How are you? Okay. Oh, let's see. Have you ever pirated Maya in the past? No, actually, I haven't. I did back in the day when I used 3ds Max. That's how I got 3ds Max. But I always had a student license for Maya because back when I was in high school, Maya, like the Autodesk student programs, you could get them as a regular student. So you just had to upload your ID and you had it. So I always had an educational version. I am kind of bummed that they changed that because I feel like that was a really good system. But yeah. Why do so many artists depend on YouTube for a living? So without that, will they still make it? Because it's a competitive space. You really have to be pushing out high quality stuff to even get a look in. Yes, exactly. It is very competitive. And so if you're not already in the industry, getting into it is very difficult. And that just unfortunately doesn't get much better as time goes on. So it's just one of those things where a lot of us will turn to YouTube just because it's a better revenue or a better avenue. Not revenue. There's not a lot of revenue there. It's a better avenue to just like be creative, teach people, and hopefully potentially make a little bit of money here and there. But I will tell you for certain that if you have an artist that you follow that's doing YouTube, they put in a lot more work than it's actually worth because it's tough. Like, YouTube can be very difficult. Right, let's... Please turn off, thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Just a nice little detail. Okay. Oh, I should have measured that. Cool. Well, that's all coming together at least. Sweet. What else we got? Oh, that'll be a fun one. I could do that. Okay. I was in college learning this stuff back in the early 2000s before there were student licenses. Back then, AD themselves would tell students to pirate it. Really? That's kind of fun. Yeah, I have never pirated Maya. I know back when I was like a poor high schooler, I did Maya and Rhino. Because like that was the only way for me to get it as like a high school kid. But no, otherwise I don't. Especially because of the work I do on the internet. Last thing I want to do is like piss off the company. I did Cinema 4D. I always was tempted to do Cinema 4D, but the only reason why was because when I did this competition called Skills USA, every time I got beaten, it was by somebody using Cinema 4D. And I'm like, I don't know what magic they have under the hood on that thing, but I need to know. And I found out it was just because I was using a really god-awful program at the time. I really don't understand what happened here. You need to go here. Or are we not able to drag again? Weird. How do you remember every shortcut and setup for rendering your object? I don't know. It's like muscle memory at this point. And then a lot of times I forget it and I just document it. So I have like a whole notebook of documentation that I write myself. So that's kind of how I do things. I'm not the best at remembering things all the time, so... I was actually really happy to find out, though, that most people that I've, like, been friends with or follow, like, they don't either. They're all just, like, kind of like, yeah, no, it's... I forget all the time. It's removed it because I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, that's fair. Pirating software used to be really sketchy. I don't know if it still is, but... mine was so expensive back then, around $6,000 and around $2,000 for an upgrade. Yeah, it was, but what sucks is like you owned it. So like there's that. I mean, technically I still own my 2 student copies of Maya because they were perpetual licenses. So I have Maya 2014 and 2015, I think. Or it was 2015, 2016, something like that. But at this point they're so old, like why would I use those? You learn architecture drawing mostly on paper and more on the computer in high school. Yeah, probably. That's fair. I don't know. My high school, they all learned on the computer. I don't think they learned on paper. Constantly getting my Maya, PS, and ZBrush hotkeys all mixed up in my brain. That's the big thing is when I jump from software to software. Like, it takes me a couple of hours. Like, when I jump from one piece of software to another, it's a good couple of hours before I can, like, recoup what I was doing. I want 8 of them. I need like... Think about this, because that's 1, that's 2. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Let's see. Can you share your document where I write all these things? No, because there's a ton of like personal notes in there too that I can't just give away. But eventually I'll probably do some sort of like published notebook or something maybe. I don't know. That's an idea for sure. I don't think I've seen anyone do that. But yeah, I won't be publishing like my specific notes because there's just like that's like my journal of like my life and like everything I do. So I don't share that. Yes, that is very true. The Maya help documents are actually very good. They are well written. That's honestly where I learned most of my stuff anyway. Am I gonna have to just deal with... No. Okay. Alright. Make sure this is even on both sides. Okay. What's up, Gianni? How are you? I pulled that way too far down. Oh, didn't realize you could do that. Alright, let's see. That gives you no 0.06. Let's go 8. Wait, how's that going down? Oh, it's negative. Oops. 0.1. Negative 1.49. So let's go. Wow, why is that so tiny? Negative 1.25. Jesus. Okay. I love how that's like behaving so differently, even though... What is going on here? So it's 0.100. 0.300. Okay. But also ick. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back. Just going to make them slightly smaller. That's better. Okay, so these are buttons. Sweet. Which asset are you modeling? I'm working on the ship. Just kind of messing around in the cockpit because I'm a little burned out of rigging. Spent way too much time doing it. The Gizmo gang strikes again. I know. I get it. You don't like it. I still need to see how you do that without the gizmo, because like I can't even wrap my head around trying to model that way. So can't be doing that, so we're not gonna do that. So let's see. So what I can do is I can just route it. Started a bike modeling project on October 2nd. Was grinding 5 to 6 hours a day in the beginning. Somehow it's now 4. My bike is still a virtual pile of polygons. It's been off 10 days. Send motivation. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. I feel that deep in my bones. I'm sending motivation to you, though. Send it back to me, though, because like I need it just as much. I have put working on this project off for quite some time now, and I've told myself I need to finish this before the end of the year because I got too much stuff I want to do next year that doesn't involve modeling to be spending time modeling. Hi, what the fuck? Okay. So if you guys can see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of rerouting these edges. That way they don't damage the buttons. Okay. That's not the best. I like the multi-cut tool. It is one of my favorite tools, yes. Nice, this is good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, that routes through. That's fine. I'm going to do this one up here now. And just try to burn through these real quick. One of these days I will break my like incessant need to have everything perfect polygons. But that is not today. I'll just boolean everything. Call it good. Although apparently that might be kind of the workflow going forward nowadays because remeshing is becoming very popular. Which I don't doubt because, I don't know, modeling this way kind of sucks sometimes. Okay, cool. Let's get the buttons supported real quick. It's just, I need to remember to do that the easy way. Nice. So the only thing is... or just fix your booleans? No! God, no. Why would I do that? That sounds awful. Fixing booleans. I wanted to, like, pull this in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I'm sure this is pulling the back of it, too. There we go. One. All right. Mesh. Mirror. Positive. Looks good. I don't honestly care that it hangs down a little bit there. I do, however, care that it's not covering that hole. Oh no. I'll just stretch it a tad bit. You'll never notice. Okay. Actually, wonder... let's do this one. I'm going to save this because I haven't saved this entire stream. Damn, I've made it a whole stream without saving. Alright, so we're going to bend this guy. So we're going to go deform. Where's your curve warp? There you are. Where's my curve warp and why did it not show up? The hell? Oh, my bad. Bent. That's what I wanted. Okay. And I did it the wrong freaking way. Deformed, nonlinear. Bend. Advanced. Oh, that's right. This one you have to do... you have to, like, rotate the deformer. Let's see, 9 out of 10 times I end up doing what I call manual booleans after using an actual function. I'll just easier to wrap my brain around and how to fix it if I do it myself. No, that's fair. U HV to rotate the wrap or bend. Yeah, no, I figured it out. I always forget with these that you have to like rotate them. Let's see. Yeah. That's pretty flush. Cool. Okay. Whoa. Excuse you. I forgot. Edit, delete by type. Deformers, delete all by type. Where are the deformers? Here and here somewhere. Okay, cool. So that should be, yeah, just slightly curved. Are you streaming somewhere also? Yeah, I stream to YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. You are good at 3D modeling. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am okay. I'm not amazing. Okay, so this will be where the handles kind of hang down. I'm just looking for like other stuff I can fill this with. I think this is where I'll put the starter mechanism thing. I just need to actually like model that out and flesh that out. Hey, what's up, Sarah? How are you? CJ, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate it. Okay, I need to figure out, let's see. Kind of looking at this. So let's start modeling handles, because like I can do control panel stuff all day. I don't want to. Sick, but otherwise okay. You're sick. What happened? You got a bug? That's not fun. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to block this out here first. Okay, so that goes into nowhere right now. Okay. Cool. Shift I. Let's see. You were giving supporting edge right now. When you were going to do low poly, are you going to remove the edge? No, I don't work in low poly usually, so I don't normally stress about that. That is not something I do. Usually if I'm doing something low poly, I'm going to keep it low poly. I'm not going to add supporting edge loops anywhere because it's extra work. So, but I also just don't do it very often. It's not my favorite thing in the world. Okay, I'm gonna just try to make this my own. Like I have a general look for it. Means you're going to do the smooth the main mesh after the UV, right? Yes. Yeah. Especially for a project this large, I'll do the smoothing after I do the UV. Sometimes though, I'll just smooth it before I UV it because why not? I found that most of the time you can actually transfer pretty well. So if you do your UVs after you've smoothed it one subdivision, you can generally transfer them across and they will work, but sometimes that can be hit or miss. Okay. You have a YouTube channel? Yes, I do. If you're on Instagram, so it's in my bio. You can also search under the same name. It's all kind of in the same spot. Okay, let's see. Alright, so I don't really like how it's looking like a Keyblade from that one game. Also, how did that get all bent? Whoa, what happened? What? I hope that's just it. Yeah, that was... Okay. It stressed me out. I was like, what happened? Okay, so let's look at this. So I think what I'll do... I want to think about that. How do I want to do that? Because I know I could, like... I don't know. That feels better. Just a little bit more like chunkiness to it. Let's see. Let's just do this. Sweet. All right. Well, because wait, is there a way to make a sweep mesh tool in older version of Maya in a more manual way? Yes, there is actually. I posted a video about that one a while ago. Man, that was a hot minute ago. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because that was on... I remember I did that. Let's see. Post way too many freaking videos. There was a way... So you can kind of do it with the bridge tool. That's one way you can do it. The other way... Where's the video? That way I don't have to, like, break it down. Oh, is that it? Yeah, so take a look on my Instagram. There's one called Curved Projection. I'm pretty sure that's the video. If that's not the video... It's on there. It is on my quick tips somewhere. I need to do, like, a folder for all my quick tips. Because there's a shitload of them now at this point. Let's see. No, sorry. It's called Extrude Along Curve. So it's down a little bit further. So there's a video. It's got like a swoopy, spirally thumbnail on it. It's in my quick tips on Instagram. Which studio do you work for now? I do not work for a studio. I am on my own, just a little freelancer who still works in IT. But someday I might. Yeah, you're welcome. You're on YouTube. You can also probably find it on YouTube. I don't know where it is on YouTube. Fine, you don't want to work that way? That's cool. Okay. Alright, so... pretty cool. I think what I want to do... let's do this. It's a cool, funky shape. Let's see, a mesh. I need to remember that I'm not like trying to like save the amount of crap that I keep throwing all over the place. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Have you seen the oldest video made by Blender by Sime? I'm gonna butcher that name. I have no idea how to pronounce that. He uses a lot of image textures and camera animation. Can Maya do like handheld camera shake animation? Also, he does use PBR textures. So, yes, I mean you can do like whatever you want to camera-wise, but as far as having like built-in modules that do it for you, not necessarily. I also haven't really experimented with that, so I'm probably not the best person to ask on that one. Most of the time when I do like camera shake stuff, I add it in post in like Nuke or Fusion, like whatever I'm working in. Just depends. Alright, so let's look at the handle for this. Let's do Duplicate. Actually kind of on a roll tonight, so that's nice. Let's center the pivot. Okay. It's pretty close to like what you would expect. Where's the old? There it is. Oh, see, those were completely different. Okay, well, that's fine. We're doing it different. It's okay. Let's see. I'm sorry. I mean, does he not use PBR textures at all in his method and use camera projections and basic UV? I honestly don't know. I haven't seen his video, if I'm being totally honest, so I'm not sure what they do. But if it's an older version of Maya, they probably were not using PBR. They were using like a mental ray workflow, because PBR is kind of a more recent thing for 3D in the span of like, 10, 15 years. But yeah, I honestly don't know. I didn't realize that was so thick. Would you say you have enough skill to join the industry? I want to see a skill level which it needs to be joined in. So, personally, in my opinion, I do not. I have been told otherwise, but in my opinion, I don't feel like I'm ready for it. That's probably like a self-depreciation thing, but in my opinion, I don't think I'm ready necessarily for it yet, but again, other people have told me that they think I should, so I don't really know. But it depends. I mean, you can have one project get you a job. It just depends on like who sees it, how it gets out, and there's a whole bunch of factors there. Don't like the way that's flowing. Oops, let's not. Doesn't like that. That's bizarre. Something's going on there. I don't know what, though. Huh. Okay. Let's try that. There we go. It just didn't want to like flip with that for some reason. If you aren't getting, well, keep in mind, Akash, I'm not trying right now. So like I'm personally not trying. I don't really know what that looks like if I would try. I do have a relatively stable job right now, so I just haven't been looking to jump ship. But yeah, I don't really know. It's kind of hard to answer. But I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I think I'd have a better answer if I were like actually actively like working towards it and trying to get into the industry, but it's just not hyper stable right now, so it's not necessarily something I'm hunting for. But you know, when you're looking to apply places, like shoot your shot, go for it. Don't hold back. Okay. So that one I need to go through. So we're once again going to reroute really. To where? I don't really know yet. Probably, wait a minute. Maybe. That might work. I miss Maya. Get indie. It's worth it. I would miss Maya too if I weren't using Maya, so I get it. I don't want to ever have to miss Maya. Okay, so too much going on there. It's okay though, because a lot of this can be removed by just doing this. Hehe. Bye-bye. Same to you, I think? Yeah. Just gotta reroute. And then that needs to be figured out. I do want that a little bit sharper. Nice. I dig that. That kind of follows the sharpness of the ship. That's what I'm kind of going for here. I'm like, what's happening there? Just some stupid stuff. Okay. So that's coming together. Let's go ahead and support that real quick. I need that nice and pointy. Kind of the same thing here. Same thing down here. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Let's do an increment and save real quick. I'm going to do a mirror. There we go. Wait a minute. X object. I think it's just this. 5. Yeah, it's just merging too much stuff. Okay. Let's just make sure that's not trashing anything. Looks like it's okay. Gotta fix that, but that's alright. Alright, so show, isolate view selected. Nice, that's looking pretty solid. Nice little joystick controller thingy. Alrighty, what time is it? 1:54. Yeah, so it's time. Cool. Alright, everybody. Well, I got quite a bit done. File, save scene. I'm going to go ahead and end stream here, but I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. It's been fun. It's been good conversation, as always. I'll be live again on Friday. Maybe. It just depends on how the week goes. This is kind of the busy season, like the busy end of the year stuff for me. So it's really dependent on like how it works out for me. But I will try to let you guys know if I'll be live or if I won't be live. So until then, Instagram. Thank you guys so much for hanging out as always. I will see you all later, and I'll see you throughout the reels and stuff. So you guys have a wonderful night and a safe week. And YouTube, same to you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching. As always, I appreciate it. And I will see you all live very soon. You guys have a wonderful, safe week. And then Twitch, we're going to raid out. Let's go find somebody. Who is...